Welcome back to Higher Ground. Now we're going to talk about making the world a better place, one nonprofit at a time, and the role that you can play. We're going to learn more about the Empower Success Corps, formerly known as the Executive Service Corps. The new rebranded group works to advance the mission of nonprofits by providing technical assistance. My guest, Julie Crockford, is president of the Empower Success Corps and brings to the position a broad portfolio of work with some of the most visible nonprofits in this region, from the Museum of African American History in Boston and Nantucket to the Emerald Necklace Conservancy. Welcome to Higher Ground, Julie Crockford.
What a pleasure. Thanks so much for inviting me, Carmen.
And let's start by telling us Empower Success Corps. What is that?
Well, you did a great intro, actually. We do provide technical assistance to other nonprofits. We work with about 100 organizations a year, doing everything from management consulting to do such things as strategic plans or business plans, a governance project, often to help board and management work better together. But we also do executive coaching, and we have some operations support now, too.
Is this primarily Boston-based?
We have our legal name, Executive Service Corps of New England. We have had the region for quite a while. Part of the region broke away from us about 12, 14 years ago, and last year they came back. So Northern New England we've acquired them again. So we actually are operating in Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, and Vermont.
Oh,
but
okay.
I would say 90% of our projects are in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, a little bit in Rhode Island, Maine, and Vermont.
What brought you to this work?
Well, you know, I had been a client, actually, when I was president of the Emerald Necklace Conservancy. When I arrived at the Conservancy, sitting on my desk at this two-person organization at the time was a very detailed marketing plan. And it had been prepared by board members of the Conservancy with ESC consultants. And one of those consultants had been, and I met him very quickly after going to the Conservancy, he'd been Executive Vice President for Marketing worldwide of GE. And he'd been able to transfer that expertise and what he'd learned along the way to an organization that had 2 staff and create a 3-page, very detailed marketing plan for us. And no one had really started to implement that plan yet. I got an intern, and with an intern and some other help, we pretty much implemented the whole plan. So I really saw firsthand the impact that these professionals could make when they applied that expertise and experience, frankly, to the nonprofit world.
Now, the people who bring that expertise, are they volunteers, or are they working on contracts, or how does that work?
So our model is pretty unusual, and it makes us very affordable. The consultants come to us pro bono. So they are at the point in their careers where they can provide their services pro bono, and what they get back is the excitement, actually, and the satisfaction of seeing the nonprofit be able to make changes, to become more effective, to become more efficient, to resolve difficulties that they may be having in management, to resolve issues perhaps between management and board, often to clarify roles and responsibilities, for example, which is one way nonprofits get into issues, I think. The nonprofit boards have a much more active role than in the day-to-day, often of organizations, than do corporate boards, and you have to get familiar with those dynamics.
Now, from the nonprofit standpoint that you're helping, is it are they on a time frame? Is it a short-term commitment, a long-term commitment?
It really depends on the project. So organizations come to us when there's a challenge or an opportunity, right? Something that they want to work on. So it might be very strategic, that they need to do a strategic plan. They finished the last one, or they've been operating without one for a while, and they're feeling a little directionless. We don't want to just keep doing the same old thing, because maybe we actually need to change up a little bit. So they want to do an environmental scan and understand the needs of the community better. And so we often get involved doing strategic planning. And those projects typically take 6 months or more. It's very collaborative. One of the things we pride ourselves on is that when the consultants come to meet and work regularly with usually a task force of the organization, they're going to say, you're going to get as much out of this as you put into it. And the end of the day, we're going to have an implementation phase worked out, because we do not want the strategic plan to be a doorstop. We want it to be something that is really functionally useful to the organization. Executive coaching, on the other hand, might be for 3 months to work with someone on a performance improvement plan, or because the person themselves has identified that they really need help around resolving some specific issues.
We talk about the needs that the nonprofits you serve have. What is your greatest need for the Empowerment Success Corps?
For Empower Success Corps, so I would say one of our needs now is actually to recruit more consultants. We want to find more people who have senior management experience in the government sector, in the nonprofit sector, in business, who are at that point in their careers where they have the flexibility to give back. We probably 10% of the people that work with us are still working full time, and they use us for their pro bono work. We have other people, no one says they retire anymore, who have portfolios. So you might be a fundraising consultant and have your own clients, but you want to do work with some of the smaller organizations that wouldn't be able to hire you at your normal rate. And so you do a couple projects a year for us pro bono. And the advantage to the consultant is they get to work with a team. Often when you're a solo consultant, it can be a little lonely, I think, and the organization is only getting the benefit of one person, whereas we almost always, except in coaching, most of our projects are teams. And so the organization is getting the benefit of several consultants' backgrounds, and the consultants enjoy that as well. So we're always looking for more people who might want to join us and become part of the team.
Quickly, any favorite success story that you want to share of a nonprofit that you've worked with?
Yeah, we've worked with some wonderful organizations. We've worked several times with Chica Project, founded by Nerys Camargo, and helped them evolve from a founder-led and managed organization while she was still working full-time to an organization that now has its own new young ED who's going to take it into the future.
All right. Well, thank you for sharing this special mission of empowerment with our audience, and best wishes for continued success. And you may have some volunteer interests in your life. You are encouraged to check out Empowerment Success Corps or our community notebook that's coming up now with some other wonderful volunteer opportunities for you to consider. We'll be back with more Higher Ground after the break.